Hello and welcome back to The Gift of the Gab. I'm Tia.
And I'm Benjamin.
And this is episode 49. Let's get right into it.
Blue therapy.
Yes.
Yes, that's what's on everybody's mind this week.
Yes.
Or last week. Or for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, we're 4 episodes in. We're all caught up.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched Blue Therapy, just pause here because this episode is the Blue Therapy reaction review. Dive in.
Yeah. Okay, so pause right here and catch yourself up and then come straight back.
Blue Therapy on Trend Central on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And so go ahead, go and watch that and then come back. And then we'll discuss what's happening. Or you don't have to watch it if you just want to hear our take on these characters, I shall call them.
Yeah, so where should we start?
Episode 2.
Yeah, so last week we did talk about episode 1. We touched on it. So we'll start with episode 2.
Yes.
Go on.
Which couple do you want to start with?
Chioma
and Paul. Okay, so this episode was mainly focusing on Chioma's use of Instagram.
Yeah.
And Paul's dislike of her use of Instagram.
Yes.
Essentially. And it culminated... I'll let you go for the beginning. You can describe because it's more fresh on your mind than mine.
So, basically, he was saying that she embarrasses him, right? And that...
He was saying that she embarrasses him.
Yeah, she embarrasses him. And she ruins their brand as a couple. But keeping in mind, he doesn't follow her on Instagram, nor does he... It's really strange, because when you look at her Instagram, like, literally...
It's very PG to me.
Yeah, all her dresses literally, like, touch the knees kind of thing. There might be a little bit of cleavage, but not where you're like, girl, you might have a nip slip. Like, it's not...
It's like Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl.
It's like, it's almost like what she wears is almost church friendly. I wouldn't even say almost. I said it's definitely church friendly, except for the ones that show your boobs.
I don't see why Paul is policing her Instagram to start off with, because as she said, the Instagram is where he found her. Yeah. Essentially, they were in a club and there was like a 1 second part where Chioma was dancing.
Yes, I remember.
And I guess Paul saw that and he got very irate about it.
She didn't say, she wasn't twerking is what she said. Yeah. But hands were on knees.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were doing.
I don't know, they'll hop it back. But yeah, he got very irate about it and was basically like,
this is not how you conduct yourself is basically what he was trying to say. But the thing is, the video, from how she describes it, the video wasn't of her dancing. Yeah. Which would have been a totally different thing.
Her dancing was just a part of the video, and it wasn't on her Instagram either.
Yeah, she was showing. The friend was showing the room, and Chioma was part of the room. So she got in there.
And I have to note that Chioma was not dancing from both their descriptions. She wasn't dancing with a guy or around a guy.
Yeah,
this was just her dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just having fun.
To put this double standard, apparently Paul goes to the club with his clients. I'll put clients in quotation marks, and he's got table service and he has ladies on his table.
Yep.
And he's drinking. Well, they're drinking from the bottles he's buying and stuff. And he's surrounded by all these women in the club. Yeah. But it does not seem that he has the same standard for when Chioma's going out with her friends. Because,
it's really weird.
Yeah, because in his head, he classifies it as, it's work. So you know. And to this day, I still don't know what exactly he does.
Yeah, I think he's a personal trainer.
The way he describes it,
higher level clientele.
I would imagine he was... Have you watched Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
Yeah.
You know Esteban Julio Gonzalo, the concierge.
Yeah.
I thought he was one of those, because like one of those people that link people to things and stuff like that.
It sounds like he's the personal trainer, but I'll tell you why later on.
Okay. But yeah. Essentially, Paul was tripping. He was big tripping this episode, as usual. And I don't understand how her Instagram has become part of his brand.
It doesn't make sense. And
he's ruining their own brand right now.
Right. And he walked out like 27 minutes into the episode. He walked out, and if someone down below can comment and tell me what exactly he was talking about right before he walked out, when he was Skittles and Puppet Master.
So he just seemed to get irate. He said that he said specifically, and I quote, he said that she's basically asking to be tamed, but he's not going to do that, and that she can't see that he's behind the curtains, controlling things and making things happen. And essentially, I think why he walked out is, again, what I touched on last week, that he doesn't seem to have or the vocabulary to express what he's saying all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And there he just got frustrated, and because he couldn't word what he wanted to say, he just stormed off.
What he was saying was BS, because I didn't understand it. So what you've just said maybe is the reason why what I think he said was BS. Because
not even the vocabulary, but the patience and like just the pause for a second, think, and then speak. He seems to be lacking that.
He's a person, and I do this too, who likes to, what's the word, like you like to like you come up with an example to explain what you're trying to say. What's that called?
Yeah, you
like the puppet thing. Yeah, anecdotes, that's it. But his anecdote don't make sense. I don't know, sometimes my anecdote don't make sense.
No, I'm
but
not saying nothing.
His anecdote definitely didn't make sense with the puppet and behind. Like just say what you meant and mean what you say. Like,
okay,
just say it.
Yep. So that's with them. What about Deborah and Jamel?
Deborah and Jamel. Well, he also walks out as well.
Yeah, he walked out in this episode as well. But Deborah seemed to be showing more of her materialistic side this episode.
Yeah, she was all about money, but it was really weird to me because she's like saying, I want him to work. No, I want him to buy me all these expensive things, but I don't want him to work.
Yeah, she's like,
oh, it's too much of what's the website she keeps referring to? Clubhouse.
That.
Too much Clubhouse, too much Instagram, too much social media.
And she keeps equating him to wanting him to be like her dad.
Yeah, then marry your dad.
And then, like, because that is the example that was set and everything was done for her, and it seems, or not even it seems, that's what came out of her mouth. Now she wants this, and she said at the beginning, but she did bring up a point. If at the beginning you were treating her to high roller lifestyle, and you knew you couldn't fund high roller lifestyle, and now you've got her, now this is also part of your problem.
It is true. It is true. Like, she's basically saying you have to keep the same energy. You knew how, but not everyone can keep up with that. Like, you can't be.
But not everyone, but some people can.
Then find someone he's obviously not of that.
But should he have pretended if in the case that she was keeping up with it?
Maybe at that time he could.
This is true.
Maybe he said that he can afford that, but he's
saving up for a house,
like a future.
I'm playing the advocate of.
But it's not everyday spend money, and Gucci bag isn't £5 from Primark. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gucci bag is expensive. So how many Gucci bags do you actually want?
And I have to say one thing: she keeps equating his not being able to buy stuff to his manlyhood, his manliness.
Yeah.
Like she's like, oh, he's not a man because he can't do this. And I think it's also like that can come across really wrong. I understand, like, to each their own. If you're materialistic, that's on you. It's not to everybody's preference, but there is someone who will like to give you those, and maybe you like your love language is gifts.
Yeah.
Then there's someone who would like to give you gifts and stuff like that. But the fact that when he's saying his legitimate reasons, or what seems legitimate as to why he can't get these gifts, maybe he's told her a different reason that we don't know.
Yeah.
But it seems that then she's like, oh, well, you're not really a man because you can't do this. And it just seems to be echoing a lot of the comments you see on social media.
I also don't want someone to buy me stuff and I can't actually afford it myself. Like, if I want something, then by all means, if you don't want to buy it for me, fair enough, I'll go buy it myself. I don't feel like you should expect someone to buy something that you can't buy.
This could, I can see I can see what you're saying there for sure. Do you have anything else to say on them?
Nah, that's it.
And I will say one thing. She said, this episode, Jamel basically said, what do you bring to the table?
Yes.
And she basically said, well, how rude of you to ask that.
Yeah.
And And then she says, when you get me the house, or when you get the house, then maybe I will do more.
What? I didn't know. I never caught that.
Oh, I had that quoted. She said, when he gets to the home, maybe she will do more. And then when he asked if she even saves, she got very defensive.
Yeah, she didn't want to. She didn't want to talk about that on camera.
I will say, she called Jamel out for commenting on other girls' photos and stuff. Mm-hmm. And Jamel did also have a walk off this episode. So both the guys took some L's this episode.
It was almost back to back the way they edited it. It was like, it was Paul walked off, and then it showed Jamel and Deborah, and then he walked off, and then I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
What is this walking off? And I as I said, I didn't understand Paul's walk off.
Yep. Episode 3. Start again with Paul and Chioma?
Yeah.
All right. So, I haven't got much on them this episode. Maybe you can go first.
Well, Paul and Chioma's main thing were talking about his sister.
Oh, yes.
And Christmas. So, we'll start off with Christmas. So, Chioma bought pasta bake to Christmas, which I'm Jamaican, you're Ghanaian, but pasta bake,
it's not really Christmas food.
It's not really Christmas food.
Me, I eat a lot, so I would have eaten it anyway. I would have had some. I would have at least tried some, but I understand why it might not have been dived into first.
No, but she was saying that everyone else ate it except for the sister, and the only reason why she didn't eat it is because she knew who made it.
Ah.
Right?
In Chioma's opinion.
And it seems like that they do have a problem.
Yeah, there is an issue there.
Sister and Chioma, and Paul refuses to even see it.
Yeah.
You know how horses wear those things?
The blinders.
That's what he's got. He doesn't even see it. And it's not even that he doesn't see
actually,
it. He just
he
sees
does.
it from Chioma.
No, he does, because he did admit. He said maybe there is actually a problem. For a split second he saw it, and then Denise tried to help him elaborate, and then he did a typical Paul thing of another example here doesn't make sense here, and he went off into the weeds.
No, but he said, oh, Denise was like, oh, maybe this is like, maybe there's a way that you can get Chioma and the sister together, and he was like, oh, if this is an area that we need to explore, I can't remember what exactly he said, but if this is an area we need to explore, then we will. And Chioma was like, yes, we need to explore it. Like
in this episode, I will also say that Paul was questioning Denise's credentials.
Yeah.
And then basically was undermining Chioma and was like, did you do the research?
Yeah.
And in the context of this show,
he was doing that from the start.
Yeah, that was very rude. But in the context of reality, it was to be true, because we know this show is fake, guys.
But I don't know if some of what they're saying is true. Let's talk about this more once we finish talking about episode 4.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll go to it towards the end. And I will say, Chioma did cross the line when he called Paul's sister a bitch.
Do you know what? You carry on.
I think she crossed the line there, because she was doing well in elaborating herself, but that's why I say is like sometimes being able to communicate clearly sometimes. Express yourself well. It can do you well, because sometimes you can have a good point, and sometimes you can give the person ammo to come at you as you're coming from an unfair point, because now you're using name calling and the person's not even there to defend themselves.
No, but that's not what she was saying, and I agree but disagree with what you're saying at the same time. I disagree with you, because I could see that she was trying to make her point, and she was trying to elaborate herself and conduct herself really well, and he just wouldn't. He basically blocked her from every avenue. And so when someone does that to you, you don't care about being respectful. And basically she ended up saying exactly how she wanted to say it. You know, when you have something in your head that you want to say and you go around it and try to say it respectfully, but the way someone else is like coming to you with the conversation, you just say basically F this. I'm just going to say how exactly I want to say it. and that is that. So you know exactly how I feel.
I understand that, but I don't like it. Putting in the context of this show, I don't think that was helpful, because if Chioma's goal is to build a better relationship, that's not helping, knowing that this is a publicized show.
Yeah,
because now but
she gave up. You don't want to fix it.
Chioma even apologized for using that term.
No, she did.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, because the fact that the person was willing to go back on their words, meaning that although they meant it at the time, they realized that probably that's not the best approach to take.
No, she did realize. No, and that's why she didn't say that from the start. She apologized, but she said it again.
She said it in a different way.
She isn't the B word, but she does act like that. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that she even backtracked wasn't good. In one of those situations, I think if you're going at someone and you don't want to repair the relationship, you either go full throttle and say what you say on your chest, or it made her look bad, and it gave Paul ammo to come at her.
I disagree with you, because it's not about her fixing the relationship with his sister. She apologized for the word that she used and changed how she said it, Denise, because that's his sister.
No, but Denise,
she said don't bring this lady around me again. She basically, what she is saying is that I said how I felt, and I don't care about fixing the relationship with your sister.
I think she did, because
that's what she said.
No, I think she did, because otherwise she wouldn't have brought up the problem in therapy and wanted Paul to help. The only reason she snapped, and she didn't snap right there because of anything the sister did. She snapped because Paul was being an arsehole to her. Mm-hmm. That's why she snapped. She wouldn't have brought up the sister and the whole thing as an issue in therapy if she didn't want to work through it. Mm-hmm. And I understand that maybe that's what she wanted to call her. But right now, the sister didn't have any input in that situation.
Yeah.
Paul was the one who was being stubborn-headed and pompous that made her react in that way towards his sister, to get at him, to be like, oh, fine, I'm done. I don't think it was necessarily the sister. I can see how she feels that way, but that's what I'm saying. Like, she clearly wanted a better relationship from it. That's why she brought it to therapy.
Yeah.
And Paul's lack of stepping up, she should have been coming at Paul for that in that specific moment.
But because that's what she was trying to do.
You calling his sister names when she hasn't done anything in that specific situation there, because Paul is angering you, isn't helping. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying you should be calling Paul that right there.
Yeah.
It wasn't the sister that had anything to do with that specific situation, although she has the reason for the issue. But I think that the reason she backed off and said, fine, I'm not doing it, is because of Paul. Like, if Paul had reacted nicely, she would have continued in that therapy session to be like, okay, let's set up this thing and let's set up that thing.
I think what she wanted is acknowledgement of what is going on between the sister and her. And I feel like, as well, it from her, what she said, oh, don't bring this lady around, it seems like, and she did say your sister is on thin ice, and so basically she basically was saying at any time she would just say forget it with your sister, and it's only because of the love that she has for him that she's trying.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have brought it to therapy. She didn't care about the issue, and Paul made it worse, and she reacted at the sister because of Paul. So we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. Next couple,
Deborah and Jamel, episode 3.
Yeah.
Well, I only had one thing to say about this. In this episode, they were talking about trust, basically, and they're always talking about trust. But Jamel has Deborah's password to her phone, but not the other way around. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying, if we both don't have each other's passwords, then no one's having a password. It's one for all. I don't even know what the saying is, but it's all together.
Fair enough. From this episode, I also gained that Jamel was making Deborah feel insecure because of some of the way he's acting, like on Clubhouse. Apparently, when he goes on with his friends and like they have a segment where girls can basically shoot their shot, his friends have some system where they will be like, this person's out of bounds, but for him, he doesn't have that system, and he lets these people engage in these convos with him, and she didn't like that. And
but he's, in his defense, he said there is someone with a very similar name. I can't remember.
But I thought that was a lie. The way he came across saying that, well, he's got a similar, maybe there's a similar Jamal. I thought he was being patronizing to her as if she didn't.
I don't know. There's the similar name, Jamal and Jamil. I don't know what the name was.
If it wasn't me, I would just say it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You misheard. But the fact that she said she was watching his Clubhouse and listening to him talk to the girl.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, well, maybe it was someone with a similar name. I think that was a whole load of lies.
Yeah, so why?
Why?
Go on, elaborate. Go into episode 4.
Oh, into episode 4. So we'll go straight to episode 4, because episode 3, I don't think I really have much else to say other than Jamal. He blames Deborah's view on their relationship due to her lack of boyfriend. And I understand you have the experience, but you don't need to patronize her with that.
I do kind of see where he's coming from.
I see, but I think there was a better way to word that, and he was being a bit patronizing with that.
And maybe he was, but I do understand the point. Like, if someone has more experience in one thing than the other person, it's not.
I can see that, but I can also see how that can be used as a way to be manipulative. Or you don't really know what you're talking about. You haven't been in a relationship, and that's kind of how it was coming across to me. That although you have this view, this is your first relationship. I've been in 4, honey. So let me take the lead on this.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. So, but into episode 4, Afro Nation.
Yes.
So Deborah decides she's going to Afro Nation.
Jamal says, "Oh, I'm letting you go to Afro Nation," and she's like, "Letting you?" And he's like, "Yeah, because if I said no, you're not going to Afro Nation, you wouldn't go." And she had a pause. She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She was just
but
pause,
they cut the camera there,
which
as she was about to say something.
Basically confirmed to me.
No, but she said a similar thing back to him.
Mm-hmm.
She said.
The ex-girlfriend.
Yes, the ex-girlfriend, because he trains his ex-girlfriend.
Yes,
which I think is
just let
inappropriate.
That one go.
Yeah, you find another client. But I think he's making her feel insecure with that, and I totally understand her point of view. But she was like, if I don't want you to train your ex, then you wouldn't.
Yeah,
he didn't have nothing to say either.
Yeah, but anyway, so then I think Denise was like, "Oh, are you going to this?"
He said no.
Denise didn't know what this Afro Nation thing was.
Yeah,
she was like, "Are you going to this Afro Nation?"
Denise was lost from palm oil.
Yeah, she didn't know what they were talking about, and then he was like, "No, I'm not going."
Yeah,
and then Deborah comes out with the receipt. She's like, "Hold on." And
what is this? Read this.
I don't want to embarrass you, but read it.
Read this.
Read it.
I thought it was gonna.
What does it say? And he's there all grinning,
he's
licking his lips.
Yeah, and then that's how you know he was lying, because he didn't come up with a straight thing. Yes, this is it. This is for me to surprise you.
And the thing is,
he waffled first, and then when he had enough thinking time, he came up with the of course I was coming to surprise you. And I was just like, God.
It's silly. How would you have thought I would have come to Afro Nation and we wouldn't have bumped into
each other? And just a fraction of a second before, when Denise asked about it, he said, yeah, Afro Nation is large. And then when he was explaining it, he was fitting the narrative to suit his lie.
Cheating. I'm not gonna front. I think he's cheating.
I think he's.
But the thing is, she doesn't trust him, and she makes that very clear that she doesn't trust him.
But I think she has every reason not to trust him now.
No, but why are you in a relationship with someone that you don't trust?
I think both of these couples,
and she's very vocal about it.
Yeah, I think but I think she has every reason not to trust him. But I also think but why are you here though?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he puts on the front of that I'm ready to settle down. I'm buying a house. Mm-hmm. I'm ready, and she hasn't met his family and stuff like that. And it seems that in his head, he's thinking he's more serious in this relationship than he's pretending to be.
Yeah.
And I just think that he needs to do some growing up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah does too, but he does as well. And I think he's not just lying to her, he's lying to himself in how serious he thinks he is.
Why don't you think he's serious? Because he's cheating?
Because the way he's acting in a way where you could easily give reassurances to Deborah to make her feel secure in these ways. Like, he's acting in like certain ways. Like, don't be training your ex as one-on-one. How you think that's gonna make her feel? You gonna be fine with her working with her ex one-on-one in a room, no one else there?
This is true.
You gonna be fine with that? I bet most men won't. And he's doing these sort of shady things and lying and getting caught up in lies. Or it's just like, bro,
yeah,
what
there's
are
like
you
a
doing?
few things. Oh, I'm at my.
You're meant to be the older one.
I'm training my friend, and he's not actually there at the friend's house. Yeah,
you're meant to be the older one. You're meant to be the one who's ready to settle down and given I've got the past relationship experience. And meanwhile, although she's coming in fresh into this, she at least is not making you feel like this way.
I definitely think that she thinks he's cheating.
Oh yeah,
but isn't ready to say it yet.
Yeah, and then he went and put the icing on the cake when Deborah when Denise said, the therapist said, look, tell him one thing you don't know about each other. She's like, Jesus. I used to fancy your sister M class.
What?
First of all,
why? What? That's the only thing you could have thought of.
And then Deborah retorted back with, I made an OnlyFans account, but not to use it.
Do you know what? I'm not even too sure if she did.
I think it might have been a counterpunch.
Do you know what? Yeah, once she said it, she felt so satisfied. You could tell. She's like, I feel good.
Yeah, I think maybe she just wanted to say something. But yeah, I don't understand why he said that, or just how much more insecure do you want her to feel?
Talking about insecure, let's get into Paul and Chioma.
Insecure city out here. But let's go.
Where do we even start?
We start with
I understand you love me, babes, but I understand I love me more.
Yeah, Paul was all over the place. Let's just jump straight into the meat and potatoes. So Paul and Chioma, disaster in this therapy session. So essentially, Paul is particular about his food.
Yeah.
And he's on a fitness kick, or he's trying to live healthily, and he's trying to keep track of his calories, and he's trying to make sure that like his protein and everything is calculated. And Chioma is basically saying she can't measure these things for him.
Yeah.
And she just wants him once a week, or at least.
She can't measure the traditional Nigerian food that she wants to cook.
And Paul is basically like, well, that's the why I'm not eating it. But she's suggesting that, hey, your food is all bland and stuff, and you're just eating it to impress your workmates. And
no, that's not what she was saying.
Well,
that's.
But she was saying that he's not eating his traditional food because Denise did go back to Chioma and said, well, his workmates aren't at home.
Yeah.
And then Paul was like, see, I'm not doing it for them.
No, I felt like she was saying it for the opposite way, for Chioma's benefit, when she was saying that, Denise.
Well, either way, Paul jumped on that and was like, well, she proving my point right.
No, but basically what Chioma is saying, they basically don't eat together.
Yeah.
She wants seasoned food, he's not eating seasoned food, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and he's eating very healthily.
She wants to eat with him, at least if it's once a week. They both sit down, they both eat together, enjoy the food. But he doesn't want to do that because he's got
he did detail that he was going through a stage in his life where he was depressed and he used to overeat, and essentially
he enjoys eating healthy.
Yeah,
but I don't know, I don't see a problem with once a week, or maybe even once a month you do these, and you're not eating a big portion. Like, I know I'm a particular eater, and I'm Jamaican, and I don't really eat African food. So I really don't know about the palm oil. I was sitting there like Denise. Denise didn't know what they were talking about. Chioma was mentioning stew and pounded yam and palm oil. I didn't even know what palm oil is.
Yeah, and I could understand from Chioma's point, because when you got something you like part of your culture, you are so excited to share it with the person, and especially with Paul being from the same culture, she at least thought like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like, we're going to eat the same thing, we're going to do the same thing, like it's a part of you, and then it's a part of thing that you can learn to do stuff together. And especially for him to be from the same culture and not want to do it, I think that was what was hurtful. Well, not necessarily hurtful, but like sort of got on her nerves a little bit.
Question: is it more hurtful that he is from the same culture and he doesn't want to participate in, eating that type of food? Or would it be more hurtful if he wasn't from the culture and he wouldn't want to participate?
I don't know necessarily. I guess if they're from the culture, like, you kind of expect them. It's like, oh, why aren't you eating it, sort of thing.
No, but do you think it's less disrespect? Like, if you did think it was disrespectful, do you think it's less disrespectful because it's not like, you don't want to do it?
Because I think from the culture, if they're from the culture, they already know what the food is like, and he's already stated his reason. He didn't necessarily say because he doesn't like the food.
Mm-hmm.
He's just said that, like, he can't keep the calories with them, and he's trying to live healthily. Like, the donuts and the cheat meals he's having, he can still track the calories.
Mm-hmm.
But his issue is that the calories can't be tracked. But whereas from another perspective, when the person doesn't necessarily have that reason, I guess it can come off a bit more. It would be more preferable if that was their reason, that I just can't track the calories. So I guess it would be a bit less hurtful. And then I think.
Okay.
But yeah.
But we didn't even get to the icing on the cake. Paul basically called Chioma fat.
No, we're diving into that. Before we go into there, Chioma basically aired out their sex life. And was like, well, you don't even do this to me, and you don't do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to feel attended to. She wants to feel beautiful. She wants to feel her husband is still her boyfriend is still attracted to her.
Yes.
And like, she wants to have that spontaneity at times, and she doesn't always want to be the initiator. They just seem to be one has a higher sex drive than the other one.
Yeah, he seems to have none.
Maybe not none, but no. I think Denise missed on a point, because he said he's he described his.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that word was.
It was someone who's attracted into intellect. He's someone who's attracted to intellect.
Okay,
that's what, like, turns him on, essentially. He said the word, it's like it's not a sociopath. But it began with that. It's like a Saggio, and then he kind of just breezed past it, which I will come on to in the end. And I feel like she could have broke that down to Chioma and at least labeled that, because he was saying that essentially he doesn't have time for it, he's tired after work and stuff like that. And then even when she gives him a massage, he's just like, I just want a massage, I don't want it to always end in a happy ending. Now I have to do something.
No, he's like, a happy ending isn't always a happy ending,
because for some people he might be tired.
No, babes, because it came to a point where they had to, they negotiated that day.
I understand,
and she went out.
I understand,
she planned
but
that's not the day.
That's not the day.
Yes, it is.
That's not the massage day. The massage day, he ate and slept.
Okay.
He ate and then said he was tired. So maybe you're not always in the mood, and maybe you weren't looking to do it for the next 30 minutes, or you had something on your mind, and now this person has done that, and he was just voicing his opinion that a happy ending is not always a happy ending.
But if you're a person who is already feeling unattracted to your partner already, and then you do these extra things to make yourself seem more what's the word? Attractive? No. What's the opposite of so your boyfriend is feeling attracted towards you, and then you do all the extra thing, you're well excited for him to come home, you do the massage, and then off to bed he goes. You already feel that type of way, and then basically all he's gone and done without knowing it is confirmed it.
I'm talking about is the line he said, a happy ending is not always a happy ending. Like, he's saying sometimes he just wants a massage, and I don't think that's wrong to say.
No, that's not wrong to say, but
that's all I'm focusing on. That's all I was focusing on.
She often goes out of her way to do things like this.
But that's all I'm focusing on. I'm just saying
and then it's over his head.
But I'm just saying,
just over his head.
I'm just saying, if in his case he doesn't want this every time. If he's just saying, if every time I'm getting a massage, you're expecting something out of me, then it's like, well, I don't want this massage. That's all I could understand.
I understand.
That's all I was saying there.
Sometimes
I'm not saying
you just want the massage.
I'm not saying I agree with Paul necessarily, and that I understand that he's making her feel insecure, and she's making her feel stuff like this.
You're trying to do all these extra stuff and over your head
and
like a ball
and stuff like that. But she did put him on air and she put the business out there, and then came the next situation. The next situation.
We just went downhill from there.
In which he didn't say she was fat. I'll have to say
she asked him if he's still attracted to her, and then he went on a waffle. Then he was like, "Oh, yes. Have I gained weight something?"
He said yes, and then I believe that question was asked, and he said, "Well, when was the last time you weighed yourself?" But then she got very offended and started crying.
No, she didn't. He then went on a roundabout, a horrible roundabout at that. He just had a word vomit of words, basically, that he was basically just trying to say, yes, you've gained weight and I no longer am attracted to you, without saying that.
But I didn't think he was saying that he was no longer attracted to her.
That's what he said.
But I think that is what Chioma... That's what Chioma got from it.
That's what the people in the comments heard, and that's what I heard.
I heard him go around the roundabout to basically call her fat.
Yes.
And then she got offended that he was saying that in front... But one thing I didn't like is that when it was to do with her, she got offended that this is now all in front of cameras. Mm-hmm. When she was putting him on blast at my 5 minutes, and if he had cried and had that same reaction, regardless of who Paul was, because maybe he was sensitive about this issue.
And you know what?
I'm just saying, plain devil's advocate.
No, I don't even think it's that. It's the fact that she's been trying to do all these extra stuff. Can you imagine? You've been trying to do all these extra stuff, and now the person that you are attracted to and you're in love with basically admits, oh, you're basically too fat for me now. And that is the reason why they haven't been, getting it in. That is heart crushing. It is,
but that might have been heart crushing to him before. I'm just saying there was a little bit of a double standard here. When waterworks started to roll,
he was in the wrong. Because she cried?
No, not because she cried. As she was saying, like, why are you saying this here in this space?
Because she wanted to know why.
But then when he answered it
to her,
then you have
why are they, and I don't not doing it like bunny rabbits.
Well, he said
so when you were fat, she was meant to love you, and now that you've gone and you've lost weight and you're eating your bland food, she's no longer acceptable. And she was saying, oh, I all the clothes that I'm wearing still fits me. So she's.
That was also a roundabout way of saying I don't know if I'm gaining weight.
No, because with girl clothes
are stretchy.
Don't
lie. Girls' clothes be stretchy.
Girls' clothes.
The jeans don't be stretching. Don't stand here and pretend you guys be wearing proper jeans.
The jeans do be stretching, but you can't get away with a lot of weight.
I don't know.
In your trousers. You can't.
You can't get a lot of weight in men's jeans, which do not stretch. Glutes. You guys can get away with more weight in jeans than we can. Don't try it.
You don't try it.
I see these girls' jeans be stretching.
Benjamin.
Hey, stretching.
Benjamin.
The jeans be stretching. I'll be like, what? There's still more jeans to go.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Jeans be stretching, oh.
Benjamin, don't let me.
Jeans be stretching, oh.
Benjamin.
Go on. Jeans be stretching. That's all I'm saying.
And men's don't.
I'm not saying that men's jeans don't stretch.
You don't know anyone who has gained weight and still wearing the same jeans.
I'm not saying men's jeans don't stretch. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying jeans be stretching. I'm saying that using the
jeans be stretching.
I'm saying using the notion of I can still fit in my same clothes is not a barometer of whether you gain weight.
Clothes that is.
I'm saying it's not.
Especially, did you see the dress she was wearing?
Stretchy.
If she had gained a significant amount of weight, if she had gone up, it wouldn't have been sitting the way it was sitting.
I've seen.
It wouldn't have been sitting the way she was sitting.
I don't even think Chioma's fat.
I don't think she's fat, but I'm saying if she would have gained weight, if she had gone up a size,
for guys
the dress
and
wouldn't
girls,
be sitting the way she was sitting.
I'm just saying for guys and girls, you can't use I still fit in my clothes to answer the question of
yes, you can.
I'm saying you can fit.
You may have gained a couple of kilograms. Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
And
that's it.
No, that's
you just
fine.
Might fit different. You can't fit. It might just be different.
But then it means that you haven't gained in girls' clothes. I don't know about boys' clothes, and I don't know what you've experienced in boys' clothes either. But in girl clothes, if you've gone up a size, the clothes is not fitting the way it should be fitting.
No, regardless,
I'm telling you that.
All I was saying is that you can't, boys or girls, using your clothes or fitting in your clothes. Clothes aren't made so that you can't gain no single kilogram. They've got a little bit of wiggle room.
I didn't say that.
That's all I'm saying.
I didn't say that.
But
it wasn't 1-2 kilograms. It was 5-10 kilograms.
I'm not talking about what Paul was saying. I'm just saying that.
We are talking about what Paul is saying.
But I'm saying what I'm saying. That like we gotta be honest. And say that the clothes is not always the best barometer
it isn't a nice feeling. I can imagine that it isn't a nice feeling to feel that the person that you're in love with is unattracted to you, and then you're not getting it in like you used to at the start of the relationship, and you're thinking, what is going on? And now to come here on YouTube where there's cameras and to be told the reason is because you're basically fat, or
look, I think,
or you're not the weight that I desire you to be. Now that I've gone and lost weight,
I think the cameras thing was rude, and yes, but also it can be upsetting, but it could have also been upsetting. It's just because Paul didn't react in that way. It could have also been upsetting, her airing out that he doesn't get with her every night and stuff like that. That could have also been upsetting to him.
It could have been upsetting.
And the way she was phrasing it wasn't delicate either. No, at least he waffled around the pond.
It's more upsetting to her. Yes. It's more upsetting to her because she's the one who is trying. He's not trying. Yes, so he's not losing anything by her saying it. She's trying again.
Maybe that's the front he put on. Is what I'm saying.
He's trying, and there's something not right.
I'm saying
this
I'm
relationship.
saying what Paul did wrong.
He's cheating. He's in the closet, or there's something. I'm not sure.
Maybe I don't think so necessarily. I think he could literally just be so engulfed with work that he just, as he said, maybe taken by his word. I
would feel upset as well if I'm wearing batty riders and you don't even say who.
But if what he said is true, and that's the reason I'm going to get on Denise. But regardless of that, he said he's a something, which was meant someone who's like sexually attracted to intelligence or something like that. If that is true, that is what he is.
Listen,
regardless
I'm telling you how a girl's brain works. You could be like, oh, let me put on these shorts.
But if he's not attracted,
my man is gonna sit.
But if he's not attracted to that, what do you want him to do?
And you look back and say, oh, it's sitting.
But as he said,
and then you walk past thinking, oh, he's gonna say it's sitting.
Regardless of that,
that's hurtful.
Regardless of that, it's hurtful. Yes, they need to figure out each other's love language, because either he's going to be looking to give compliments that he's not necessarily seeing there, because you've gone and worn the batty riders and thought that is exactly what he's into. It doesn't mean necessarily that was what he's into. Maybe if
she's trying. That's what she's trying to say.
But what he's saying, and that's why I think the therapist was rubbish there, because she didn't explain to him that
the therapist was rubbish all the way around. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, and we'll get onto why she was rubbish. But she didn't explain to Chioma that, okay, maybe the ways that you are reaching out to him is not necessarily the way that he receives, or if he's what he's saying is true. If someone says, I'm attracted to
your toes, and you're showing,
and then you're showing doing everything but what they're attracted to, yeah, you're gonna feel disappointed, because that's not necessarily what the person is attracted to. You're trying to get them in this, and that is not their interest. And when he said that is his interest, there could have been more work by the therapist to break that down and be like, okay, maybe this is why there's a disconnect between the two of them. And I'm not saying what Paul said to Chioma wasn't mean, because he waffled around, made her feel fat, and it was just like, bro. What I will also say, I think there was a double standard, and especially because it was coming from the comments, and because I'm guessing not many girls like to be called fat, or even be pretended to be called fat.
I don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, but what I will say is that they had forgotten just 5 minutes before, Chioma was holding her own, swinging big shots. It's just that Paul didn't react in that way. And yes, you can view it from your side and say I was putting in all the effort. But if you're putting in all the effort to something that I have just said that is not what interests me, like you're choosing
one person reacts one way,
you're choosing to
put
have
the
exactly
right to react.
It doesn't mean you don't have the right to react, but I'm saying both of them were shitty. Paul maybe was more shitty, but I'm not gonna give Chioma a pass for her involvement in that whole therapy session too, because she didn't come off with squeaky clean either.
But Paul was
worse. Paul was worse. I'll absolutely give you that. I'll absolutely give you that, but I don't think
nothing, which is really annoying.
But I'm trying to view things unbiasedly. I'm trying to view things unbiasedly and not just.
I can't be the bigger person.
And not just look at Paul and say, because Paul is the worst of the two. It seems
Paul needs counselling by himself. Because he deflects everything. Everything.
Onto.
He wants to stay on the surface for everything. That's really annoying.
It seems both these couples aren't going to stay together.
They shouldn't. Shouldn't.
And we know, guys, it's not real. It's not a real show.
The therapy is not real.
I don't think most of the situations are real. It's my personal opinion.
Especially with the fat thing, you can see the way how she.
Even that, I think could be a storyline.
No,
personally,
I do think...
you can go why you think first, and I'll go with why second.
No, there's certain things I feel like they might with all reality TV. Like there's certain things they might egg on, like, oh, let's talk about this topic. Let's talk about this topic, and while you're talking about it, it becomes real, because sometimes it's very hard to just pull things out of thin air, and so when you're talking, like, it can be I don't even know how to properly explain myself.
But yeah, I'll let you think whilst I'll go then. I think because I watched the video, it popped up in the recommended, and then it was like, this show is fake. I already had I had an inkling that it wasn't. It was heavily scripted.
I do want to say that I don't think that Denise, what's her name, Denise, right, is a real therapist. I did say to you, I feel like I could have done a better therapy session.
Okay, go on.
I did say that to you, no?
I don't remember.
You never remember nothing. I did say that I could do a better therapy session than Denise. But yeah, go on.
Because I found the video and then they basically searched up Denise, and then I searched her up myself and it came up with her acting page and the list of commercials she's been in. So she's clearly a paid actress. This is the thing. And what made me was like, these problems, and I still enjoy the show regardless. I'll still enjoy the show because I'm understanding that basically when I was watching this, before I confirmed that this was a fully fake show, I had my inkling that this is either severely scripted, because some of the problems, it was just like, why are you still together? And some of the things they're saying on camera, I was like, well, if you're trying to repair your relationship, but you really think this is the best place? And I was just like, now that I'm under the guise of, okay, they couldn't even, like in the other reality TV shows, like Married at First Sight or whatnot, they at least get psychologists. People
not really, because is Dr. Phil a real doctor?
He isn't. He is.
Doctor in what?
He's a doctor of philosophy.
Is he actually?
Yes, he's a doctor. Is he actually? He is actually a
all those judges.
Lauren Lakes, I think, is actually a judge.
No, some of those judges are not judges.
Maybe.
I'm telling you that
maybe. But
and when they be banging, they're not judges.
But I'm saying, like, on the other relationship shows, like Married at First Sight in particular, the 3 experts, they're actually like experts in their field, and like they although it's a reality TV and they cut stuff and stuff like that, the experts, like, they're actually giving advice to the people. And with this, the fact that they don't even have a real expert here to give real advice on real problems, if this is real issues, it's just like, why are they just having these people go to this fake person and give real issues? That's why I think those scenarios,
I don't.
Maybe some of them from a hint of truth, but I think mostly are scripted.
I don't think it's scripted at all. What I think it is they maybe prompted them to talk about certain stuff, and then they've gone and talked about certain stuff.
I will say my reasoning for it is because even before before I confirmed that it was scripted. Hold
on! I tell you why I don't think it's scripted. Sorry, because Paul keeps calling her out. That's not. You wouldn't script someone and then call out the part of the act.
I think that's part of it. But I think personally that's part of it.
I just think they've told them to talk about certain stuff.
Essentially, what I think is
like most
that if
TV shows,
if the real scenarios were real, they would at least set them, because if the scenarios are real as they are, putting them in front of a real therapist, still entertainment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If all these scenarios are real and they're not scripting these scenarios, you put them in front of a real therapist, these problems still exist.
Where would they have got a real therapist from that actually wants to be part of this?
Oh, the money's there. We don't care. I'm sure they could have found a real therapist who would do a live therapy session. Personally, I don't think it would have been that hard for them to find a therapist.
I think it might have been difficult, only because it's not a big show. It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3.
I think if they were paying the person right, there would be. I'm sure there's even a therapist in the Shade Borough comments who would have taken the pay. And the other reason I think is fake is because they have all of the key issues and all of the entertaining ones that are going to make the show brilliant. So, in two couples.
So give me an example of something.
I'm saying the next episode we're gonna see another entertaining issue that is just gonna make the show even better.
But I still enjoy it. Give me an example of an issue that a couple might have that wouldn't be underneath the Shade Borough comment.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe you like to poo on someone's chest.
Let's wrap this up.
That's an issue. That was we talked about that. Remember? Who was it? Odell Beckham Jr. The girl went on the No Jumper podcast or something and said she flew him out. He flew her out to poo on his chest. This is an issue. This is an issue. Fetishes.
Right, you've been listening to The Gift of the Gab.
What, you asked for an issue?
I'm Ben and he's Tia. And
I'm Tia. You're Ben.
Who am I? I'm Tia and he's Ben.
And you've been listening to The Gift of the Gab.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
And don't let people poop on your chest.
Oh my gosh. Let's comment down below what you thought of blue therapy.
Remember that story I told you?
Let's not go there. Comment down below what you thought of blue therapy, and next week we'll talk about episode 5. There will be so we'll only talk about 1 now that we're all caught up.
Yep.
Like, comment and subscribe and all of that good stuff.
Ciao.